Hello and welcome back once again. Originally, this was going to be a review of Transformers Rise of the Darkspark, but for unknown reasons, I was not able to get the game, so today's review is going to be a mystery review of 2 games for the price of 1. The first game I'm going to review is dun da da da! Need for Speed: The Run. Now, when I first got this game, it came with some bonus content, not because I pre-ordered it or something. I got this game today, and it was only cheap. It's because it says it is a limited edition. And I'm not sure if there is any other extras besides the game itself. And it's pretty cheap for a limited edition because limited edition games are usually expensive. So that's a thumbs up right there. And as you can see, the game came with some downloadable content. And no, I am not going to show you the code because when I did my Gran Turismo 6 unboxing video, I didn't know if showing the code was safe or not. And I showed it by accident. And then I found out that it wasn't. So there. Now seriously, is there DLC code police out there? Enough talk about this game. Let's review it and give out a first impression. So, after all that waiting, let's review the game. Alright, so, let's talk about the features of this game. The Run, which is probably your, the game's career mode. Challenge Series, which is a trial run of races in the game. Multiplayer, which is probably your typical standard feature, standard multiplayer feature in the game. View cars, where you can view all of your cars in the game. Settings, which is probably your typical settings feature in a video game. Extras, where you can probably read the manual and redeem codes in order to get in-game content. And I could not redeem the codes for my bonus content that I got with the game, probably because it expired or something. And the Need for Speed store, you could probably buy additional in-game content for this game, and that means you have to buy the downloadable content for the game. And that's another thing I hate, is having to buy in-game content. It's just another thing to make money for the game developers. So, once you start a new game, you can select a difficulty, and the difficulty differs on how you select it. Which is a good thing because you might want to replay the game over and over again. So let's go for easy, which probably because of the reason I had never played this game before. Alright, so once you start the career mode, it starts off with a cutscene. which is basically your typical thing in new games. yeah, that's a thing. Another thing I hate in newer games is, why would you want to watch a movie before you start the game? Isn't the whole point of playing a video game? And when you put it in, you want to start playing it? And this is just yet another thing that makes me want to go back to the old days of gaming. Alright, let's skip this cutscene. Hey, wait. Can you skip it? Apparently not. So, apparently you can't skip it. It's just in the game. Well, that's a BS thing. So apparently, I found out that this cutscene is actually part of the game. And you're about to see why. So basically, he's trapped inside the car, and he goes inside to the crusher, which is kind of a worrying scene. And then he tries to escape the car. Yeah, this is a timing-based event. And yeah, this is seen before in games like Ride to Hell Retribution. You know, the infamous game. That should never be played by anybody. And yes, he escapes the car. So, that basically was just a warm-up. And now you're driving in a silver sedan, probably an Audi RS4, I think, or is it RS6? I think it could be an RS4. And you're escaping from other cars, which are probably SUVs, and they're probably Porsche Cayennes. Yeah, I know this because I'm an expert at cars. Don't you know? Whoa, man. Wrecked. So I deliberately went into the fence for no apparent reason. And yet I had to readjust the camera, and that made me go into the fence again for no reason. So basically, as I said before, this is basically a warm-up. Be careful. So, that first part in the game I just played was actually quite good, except for the timing-based mini-game. And once you have gotten out of the car, it reminded me of a scene out of Fast 5, because of having a similar idea of having black SUVs chase after you and shoot at you. So yeah, that was actually pretty good. So, this is the car select screen. You start out with 3 cars, and you basically get more later on. Now, I understand that that in a racing game you start out with the slowest car and get more cars later on, but starting you out with a good car and taking it away is like a joke. Seriously. And I forgot to tell you, there has been some technical difficulties. My PS3 stopped working and I found out why. The plug deliberately went out of the system and I plugged it back in. And it still worked like usual. Now that sounds like something out of a comedy sketch, and it's actually true though. So, which car should we select? Select the BMW, because it's the fastest one in the start. And yes, every time you access another part in the game, there's always a loading screen, probably because it's a CD or DVD or Blu-ray based game console. The PlayStation 3 is a Blu-ray based video game console, but you can play DVDs on it though. And Blu-rays on it as well. So, once I first played this game, the driving controls are actually good. And it also has police elements in there, like in all of the other Need for Speed games. And the crashing and drifting mechanics are also pretty good as well. But although, if you crash into another car, it doesn't really explode. Like, well, probably in real life, if you crash into another car at high speed, it will probably explode or something, don't you think? So, there's not really much to say about this game, other than it's good, and I would highly recommend it if you don't have this game yet, and you want to buy another racing game. And I also forgot to mention that this is actually one of the last Need for Speed games in the series to have customization, and that's also another good thing. In fact, I think that more new Need for Speed games should have customization. So, that's pretty much all there is to say about it. So let's go on to the conclusion. So, in conclusion, Need for Speed The Run is a good game, and it's good for how much I have paid while buying it. You see, I paid only $15 or $14.99 on this game. It's kind of good. I'm going to give this game a rating of an 8.1 out of 10, and here's why. The game has some good driving controls, crashing physics, and drifting mechanics. But it does have some flaws, like when you crash into a car at high speeds, it does not explode or get totaled. But probably that's not what they're going for, though. But it has a variety of cars, it has some customization, and it also has some different difficulty levels in order to give it some more replay value. And it's one of the best new Need for Speed games in the series. The next game we got to review is The Wrong Case for Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. You might think I am dumb to put the game in the wrong case, but here's the story. When I first bought this game, which was today, which was the same day I got Need for Speed The Run, I picked it out, and the guy behind the counter was only able to find Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, and I decided to buy that game instead. So he went to look for a case for it, but he was not able to find a case for it. So he put this game in the Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing case instead, and that's the story behind it. It's a true story as well. I trust you. This game is the sequel to Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. And I have never played the original, but I have heard it's supposed to be better than the original. And that's usually a rarity when it comes to video game sequels, because the sequel is sometimes not nearly as good as the original. Now, once again, this is yet another first impression because I have never played the game before, so let's review it and give out another first impression. And this is another game that I had to update. But the good news is that once you've updated it once, you do not have to update it again for a long time. So that's a thumbs up, because that's one of the things I hate in new video games consoles, especially the Wii U. There's the good old Sega tune. And as you can see, the intro might give you what you expect from this game. So, in this game, you're not only racing cars, but you're racing airplanes and boats as well. Yeah, but your cars or carts or whatever you want to call them transform into boats and airplanes. Now that is pretty awesome, don't you think? It is.
Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed.
Alright, so let's review this game. And as I said before, the intro already gave out a good first impression. So, there are 4 different game modes. Career, which...
Career. Select a career mode.
is not only your typical career mode, but you can also select 4 different career modes as well. World Tour, Grand Prix, Time Attack, or Single Race.
Select a mode.
Matchmaking, which is probably your typical online feature in a game.
Select a custom game.
Custom game, which is probably,
Select a mode.
guess you can create events to play with your friends. Options, which is just once again, it's just your typical standard feature in a racing game or any video game.
Career.
Now, if you look closely, on one of the floating rocks, there's an aircraft carrier on it.
World Tour. Select a tour. Sunshine Coast. Select an event. Race.
So there's many different events where you can choose from, but you should go from left to right though, because that's how you want to progress. Alright, let's go. Let's do medium because easy is probably too easy.
Character select.
So in this game, you can select up to different characters, and you can not only select the original free Sonic the Hedgehog characters like Sonic the Hedgehog, Tails, and of course Knuckles. You can also select other characters as well. And you can even play as Wreck-It Ralph, though that is awesome. Now imagine if you could play as Turbo as well. Oh, if you can, this game will be turbo-tastic. In fact, I think that they should put Turbo as a downloadable content for this game. That would be awesome. Another loading screen. And as I said before, that's just a thing for CD consoles, or even other disc-based consoles.
Get ready. 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright, so here's another good first impression. The driving controls are good especially for a new Sega game. You might expect them to be bad. Well, as I said before, I've never played the original. And like in the Mario Kart games, you have different items in order to take down the competition. As you can see, I'm playing as Wreck-It Ralph because I thought I should. And I thought it would be awesome to play as him. And apparently you can also play as Danica Patrick in this game. And for those of you who are not familiar or don't know who she is an IndyCar driver who is also a NASCAR driver who races for Stewart Haas Racing, which is a racing team that's owned by Stewart Haas and Gene Haas and Tony Stewart. And of course, Tony Stewart is one of my favorite NASCAR drivers, and I do not want to hear in the comments, "Oh, you like Tony Stewart? Well, you suck," or something like that. Of course I like Tony Stewart. He is one of my all-time favorite NASCAR drivers, along with Dale Earnhardt Jr. All I want to hear in the comments is your opinions about the games. That's it. So, other than that, there's not really a whole lot to say about this game. And I would recommend it. So, let's go on to the conclusion. So, in conclusion, Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed is a fun racing game, and it is also challenging, which is good because challenge is a good thing in video games. I'm going to give this game a rating of a 9 out of 10. It's basically a fun racing game and it has a variety of characters you can choose from. And I highly recommend you to buy this game if you do not have it yet. And it's one of the games that Mario Kart should look out for. Especially the new Mario Kart game, which is Mario Kart 8, is pricey because it costs $65. And you should wait until the price goes down in order to buy Mario Kart 8. Hello. And I have come here to show you something. I don't know who you are or where you came from, but you could show it to me if you like. My name is Hootie, and you know you have mentioned Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in your top 10 most anticipated movies of 2014 list. Well, guess what? That movie is for real now and it even has a trailer, but I am not going to show it to you for copyright reasons, but here's the poster for the movie. And it is going to be produced by the same person who brought you all of the Transformers movies, and Megan Fox is going to play as April Neo. Here you go. Here's the poster for you. Why would he even pick Megan Fox to play as April Neo? But that's just Mr. Bay, though. Hopefully this movie doesn't suck when I go see it at theaters, but if it does, I will be disappointed. Well, I'll see you later, Otaku Bandito, and have fun with your other videos.